Our story begins with Steve cursing his boss for assigning yet another ridiculous task. As he's grumbling at his phone, out of nowhere, a huge fish crashes down on his head. The impact is so severe that blood starts gushing out, and before Steve can even process what's happening, he loses consciousness and collapses on the spot. Passers-by, witnessing the bizarre scene, rush to call emergency services, discussing the situation and feeling sorry for the poor guy. As Steve's consciousness fades, both he and his phone are pulled into a time rift. Suddenly, a loud voice booms, "Connector detected." Steve tries to open his eyes, but he can't. His consciousness slips away, plunging him back into darkness. In the vastness of space, a massive creature appears, its color resembling the starry sky, with huge, mystical eyes that give it the look of a big cat, or maybe a fox. The creature passes through a strange portal and finds itself near Steve, accidentally triggering something on his phone, starting an installation process. Suddenly, a rift opens up, sucking in both Steve and the mythical creature. In an instant, Steve, now surrounded by a purple aura, falls through the sky from the same rift, landing near snow-covered mountains. Not far from where he lands, there's a disaster relief building. This otherworldly event doesn't go unnoticed. The team immediately reports it to Instructor Zwa, who sends a combat group to investigate. Meanwhile, Steve lies unconscious in the snow, with the unknown creature standing guard beside him. A pack of snow wolves approaches, intent on attacking him. But the mystical creature, sensing the danger, copies the appearance of the wolves, only bigger, and drives them away from Steve. Once the wolves are gone, the rescuers find Steve with a massive wolf by his side. Assuming the wolf is his spiritual beast, they give Steve first aid for his injuries. While the rescuers discuss among themselves, Steve begins to wake up, feeling intense pain all over his body. As he opens his eyes, memories of his past life flood back, some clear, some blurry. Seeing the snow around him, Steve realizes he's been transported to another world. Being the smart guy he is, Steve checks for any cheats or superpowers. Noticing no changes in his body, he screams up at the sky in frustration. Witnessing this, the rescuers start to think that maybe Steve hit his head a bit too hard. While some ponder the situation, another team member informs the leader that they've identified the victim. They learn that his name is Steve, an 18-year-old high school student. After rummaging around, Steve finds his wallet and school identity card. Little by little, he begins to remember, this is the best school on the continent. To better understand his current situation, he turns on the television. To his shock, the screen shows the place where rescuers found him, but something more astonishing catches his eye. a man standing on a massive creature, the ruler of a snowy field. Disbelieving, Steve tries to confirm what he's seeing. Suddenly, all his memories flood back. He remembers a world where people control spirits, an esteemed profession where individuals form spiritual contracts with powerful beasts and command them in battle. Realizing he is in such a world, Steve feels a mix of awe and excitement. Just then, a loud, familiar voice echoes, announcing that his status has been confirmed. Startled, Steve jumps up, scanning the room, but no one is there, except for the large wolf. Steve suspects the wolf might be the one speaking and voices his suspicion, reminding the animal that beasts can't become personal spirits. The wolf, however, merely smirks, which infuriates Steve. He yells at the wolf, accidentally brushing his phone in the process. The screen displays 99%, and before he can react, the download completes. Notifications flood the screen, revealing Steve's personal information. He's human, with the status of proofreader. His skills include a passive animal language that lets him communicate with spiritual beasts, and an active golden hands skill, which enhances a beast's abilities when he pets them. The last notification issues a beginner's task to enter into a contract with a spiritual beast. Completing this will unlock a system camera function. Overjoyed at having a cheat system, Steve excitedly shouts that he'll become a legend in this new world. Calming down, Steve thinks about the information he's received. He looks at the wolf, wondering how the golden hands skill might affect it. Could the wolf grow bigger if he pets it? Determined to find out, Steve hugs the wolf tightly. For some reason, he pulls a terrible face, squeezing the poor wolf so hard that tears spring to its eyes. Suddenly, the room is bathed in blue light, and a notification confirms that the task is complete. Steve is now a novice spirit controller, and the camera function is unlocked. Relieved, Steve lets go of the frightened wolf and checks his hands. Nothing seems different. He double-checks his phone, where new characteristics have appeared: Novice Spirit Manager and Spiritual Strength, rated at 100 out of 100. The camera function is now listed among his skills. Curious to test his new ability, Steve activates the camera and points it at the wolf. Instantly, the wolf transforms into its true form. Shocked, Steve exclaims, asking if the wolf is the beast of the void, the one that was with him in the empty space. The wolf confirms this, and Steve realizes why he completed the first task so easily. Their bond was already strong, and the wolf was not against the contract. He also discovers that his animal language skill now allows him to fully understand the wolf. The wolf explains Meanwhile, at the entrance to another world, a figure named Sean learns from the spiritual beasts that something unknown is rising from the depths. This entity, formed from countless tentacles that intertwine like branches, takes on a human form, a realistic doll with white hair and a creepy smile. We are soon making the next part, so to motivate us, please comment your suggestions.